Here at KPMG, we take a multidisciplinary approach when designing and implementing reward strategies for our clients. Today, I am joined by my colleague Thalia O'Toole, who will share some insights on the current trends we are seeing in rewards and also some of the key tax considerations for employers. Thalia, many employers are facing talent shortages, so recruiting and retaining talent is more important than ever. What are you seeing in terms of the impact this is having on the types of reward packages that are on offer?
Yes, so as you'd expect, salary, bonus, cash allowances are really a fundamental part of the current offering, and they need to be competitive in the current climate. But it's not all about cash. Wellbeing is featuring really high up on employee agendas. So employee assistance programs, extra holidays, cross-border hybrid working, team building events, that all features into the supports and well-being offering that employers are considering. ESG is also coming through in the reward strategies. So we're seeing companies begin to move their fleet vehicles to electric vehicles, and that has some nice tax incentives for employees at the moment currently. And also in that ESG space, we're seeing corporate volunteer programs, diversity and inclusion events also being very impactful and rewarding for employees. Lastly, of course, employers are always looking to incentivize and retain employees further, so implementing incentive arrangements like share schemes, which may have, your usual financial and ESG metrics coming through now as part of that rollout, will also support future employee wealth.
And you mentioned the share incentive schemes there, Thalia, as being kind of one key component. What are we seeing there in terms of current trends?
So it very much depends on whether it's a private or listed company. In a private company context, early startup and early growth phase companies, share values might be quite low. So growth shares, free or discounted shares, they're really, really popular. You might build in some sales restrictions and forfeiture conditions around those awards. And where there is value in the shares, use of clog relief can provide a tax incentive for the employee to manage those tax costs, but provided it's structured correctly. And from a listed company perspective, quite dominant schemes would be restricted stock units and share options. And we do see some use of approved arrangements like approved profit sharing schemes. They still have a role to play, although the tax incentive can be fairly limited.
And you mentioned kind of a number of the tax kind of incentive pieces there, Thalia, maybe looking kind of more broadly across reward. What are you seeing as being kind of some of the key employment tax considerations for employers at the minute?
Yeah, so I suppose anytime you pay or provide a benefit to an employee, you need to be really mindful of the employment tax impact. And the onus is on the employer to calculate the right amount of taxable pay and make sure it gets into payroll at the right time. So we'd always encourage employers to take an all rewards review and consider the taxability of those rewards and how it might be filtering into the payroll regime. Employers can be on the hook for payroll withholdings, and that's especially the case if you have shares, for example, as an incentive, and employees may not have enough net pay to cover the liabilities that are due. So making sure your arrangements include sell to cover, for example, as an option, and also making sure the arrangements qualify for employer PRSI exemption is really important. On the employee side, they might not also be fully aware of all of the benefits that are on offer to them. So having a centralised portal or annual statement that captures that in one place, that can be really impactful from an employer perspective. And where there are incentive arrangements in place, making sure there's employee comms and trainings around what the arrangement is so that employees understand the tax consequences, their personal obligations, and ultimately the net after-tax benefit to them. That's also really important.
Lots and lots of things to consider there, Thalia. Thank you very much. If you need any more professional advice in relation to any of the matters discussed today, please contact Thalia, myself, or click on the link to our website for more information.